All right, what's going on, guys? As promised, I said I was going to get you a recording, and here it is. We are moving forward to learning module number 2, which is starting off with chapter 7 and chapter 8, which I've already provided some videos on there just to get an idea of what to expect as far as your next few chapters are concerned. Okay. Now, if you have any questions for me about the content, please let me know. If you have any questions and you need extra time on your first test, please let me know. Your first test is short answer. Okay. So I do have to go back in there and grade. I will be flexible with the grading because we're in a unique set of circumstances. When teaching motor learning online is very hard. So, but we're gonna continue to make do. Okay, we're gonna get through the next month. Your second learning module, all the contents in it are due March 21st. Having said that, there are still going to be some lecture days. As I'm looking at my calendar right now, I think the only lecture day that I foresee won't be happening is March 15th and the Monday after Easter. That can change. So make sure that you are on your Remind app and make sure that you're checking Blackboard regularly to see if there's any changes. Okay. So, like I said, I will start grading your tests. I'll save that for last because it's short answers. So I want to make sure that I'm reading through the answers and not rushing through them so I can give you the right credit, right? So y'all want to get A's and B's. I don't want to give y'all no F's for no reason. So, so it's going to give me give me some time to finalize your grades for your test. If you need additional time, like I said, let me know, message me through the Remind app, send me an email, and we'll work that out. All right, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to briefly talk about chapter 7 and 8 together because you have a pop quiz coming up on these two chapters. Make sure that you're on your Remind app. Make sure that you're in Blackboard to get that review information as far as your pop quiz. All right, chapter 7. Okay, chapter 7 addresses fundamental skills in childhood. Okay, the fundamental skills are broken up into 3 different sections, right? You got your non-locomotor, your locomotor, and your manipulative skills, okay? So those 3 different skills do really break down all the parts of the body that are in movement, and you'll watch further in your videos, right? So think of locomotor, right? We're just going to go right into it, make it easy. Locomotor just means moving the body from one location to the other. And you may basically achieve that through running, jumping, skipping, hopping, walking. So that's what we think of with locomotor. You're moving the body from one place to the next. Okay. Now your non-locomotor skills are basically things where you don't really move your body. Well, not don't really. You don't move your body, but you're really just kind of staying within your axial body movement. Okay, so there's bending, there's stretching, there's reaching, but again, your videos are going to go a little bit more detail about it. It's flexing, it's extending, it's raising. Those are the things that you want to look for, especially if you plan on working with children. Okay, those are 2 main things you want to definitely look into in terms of injury. All right, so there's going to be some sort of maybe an injury in a child, maybe a growth plate injury. In terms of childhood development, we're thinking of children right now. We're not thinking of adults. Think of kids. Okay, so I want you to think of things that might limit or restrict a child's skill for locomotion. Okay, maybe they have a broken foot, maybe they have a growth plate issue where walking is not as easy, running is not as easy, hopping is not as easy. Maybe there is a birth defect that impacts their locomotor skills. If you continue to work with children, you might come across some birth defects that may impact the child's growth, okay, or may impact the child's development in these particular skills, right? So, I try not to say disability because sometimes the word disability gives it a negative connotation. We just assume that, this is bad, they're disabled. But I like to use DIS-ability, meaning that there's some limitations in their ability to still do something, right? They still have the opportunity and the ability to do something, right? But there's just going to be some changes and some challenges to that, right? So those are just things to be mindful of. Like, of course, if you have a classroom full of kids running, but one of your students might be in a wheelchair or an electric wheelchair, or might have a cane or might have a walker, those things are going to impact their locomotor skills. However, as a teacher, I want you to keep this in mind because this is a potential test question. Okay, think of things that are going to encourage your student to still develop that locomotor skill, but still make them feel included in the classroom. Okay, so those are just things to just be mindful of in terms of those particular two skills. Same thing with your non-locomotor skills. There might be an injury in place where the child may not be able to raise. There might be an injury in place where the child may not be able to flex, extend. There might be an injury in place where the child may not be able to bend. Or, for example, sometimes, where you have children that might have additional apparatuses on them. They may not be able to bend. They may not be able to sit. The little things of that nature, just to be mindful of. Okay, so I want you to think of those things in those two, locomotor and non-locomotor skills. All right. Now, manipulative skills are very different. Okay. Manipulative skills are skills that really involve an object. Okay. Whether you absorb the force or the power of that object, or how you maneuver the force, or where you exert force of that object. So one example to that is throwing a baseball. Okay. Let me see. Another one I would think shooting a baseball, maybe throwing a baseball. So those are just the little intricate things that really involve you moving something or exerting the force of something. All right. So those skills are sometimes taught, and some people just got it. Like when you give a little boy a football, most times, we're just going to push them to throw, and they will. But same thing with a little girl. You give a little girl a football, they'll throw. Okay, natural response. But as teachers, or as future practitioners, or as future coaches, it's up to us to refine those skills. So if you give a girl a baseball, okay, and automatically ball means throw, okay, it's going to be up to the coaches, up to the trainers, up to the health practitioners, up to the PE teachers to refine that skill. Throw the baseball where, okay? Throw the baseball how, so those are the skills that need a little fine tuning. And it's so important that you learn all of these skills because, again, that can help you determine whether there's injury present. Okay, that can help you determine whether there might be a illness present, a birth defect present. You have some children that are premature, and there might be some developmental delays. I'll tell you this: my youngest brother, Emmanuel, he was born at 2 pounds. And we automatically assumed that he was going to have some developmental delays. While he did a little bit, okay, he actually sprung right into, once he was taught a lot of these manipulative skills, he just took off, okay? Once we taught him how to play basketball, he was gone with it, okay? Once we taught him how to play baseball, gone with it. All right. So it's very important. Sometimes teaching those skills to someone who might come off as where you think that they are diseased or disabled or unable, you just teach them that skill and you teach them how to do it. Man, they're a beast. They're brutal. They could definitely do it. I use my youngest brother, for example. All right. So make sure you watch these videos. Oh, excuse me. How could I forget? I almost forgot about chapter 8. Okay. Chapter 8 addresses movements in adulthood. Now, that's a little different. Okay. You're still carrying those fundamental skills, but those fundamental skills are really spent over time being developed or being strengthened. Now you got your chronological age and you got your biological age. Okay. Your chronological age is how old you are. What year were you born? Chronological. Okay. Biological age might be a little different, thinking about skin, right? Thinking about hair. Y'all don't see it, but I had to color a whole bunch of gray hair. Okay. So those things are very different, right? And so when we think about age, we should always be careful, especially with dealing with adults and playing a certain sport, because sometimes when we tell adults that they can't play a sport because of age, that is a form of ageism, restricting people from doing a particular activity because we assume that they're a certain age and they've reached their age capacity and can't do it anymore. All right. So we got to be careful of that. And that same goes for children. Okay. You might have a 12-year-old that might be interested in playing a particular sport that might be suitable for a 10-year-old. All right. So you want to be mindful of, working with that particular child, and it can happen vice versa. Right. And, with the child who might be 12 years old, but might be on the playing level of a 10-year-old, there may have been some developmental delays in place. So you want to be mindful of how you treat people based off of, oh, well, chronologically, they're not old enough, but biologically, they're probably there. So it's important that we know the two differences. So as you can see, I have all my devices ringing. Okay. So make sure that you watch these videos. I posted some videos to help you understand fundamental skills better. I've also posted a really good video of one of my idols. I hate saying the word idol, but she's pretty cool. Okay. Her name is Ernestine Shepherd. Okay. She was recorded in the Guinness World Book of Records as the oldest bodybuilder, almost oldest female bodybuilder at that time. I believe someone has already surpassed that record. Okay. She has broken every odd to thinking that you can't do something at a certain age, and she did it. Okay. She killed it. So I encourage you guys to take some time out to review chapter 7 and 8, review the videos, get ready for your pop quiz. Make sure that you're on the Remind app and checking Blackboard. Chat soon.